What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube Barber Academy. And today, we're not talking about barbering. Although I will just say, shout out to VIP Barber Supply in Tampa. Just went up there and I met with their sales team, and it was a pretty fun day. We talked about tools. We talked about everything, from run times, issues with tools, certain things like that. I haven't went live in a little while. I figured I would. Please let me know if you can hear me before we get any further into this. And all right, so there's been a lot of talk about UFOs lately and stuff like that. So okay, we're loud and clear. Good. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Zach. So let's let some more people get up in the room and we're gonna talk about it. All right. So I'm sitting here with my boy Al. Shout out to my boy Al here, because whenever I got to do this long, drive across state things, I mean, he's always been down to ride. If I got to ride to Orlando, Tampa, Miami, I always just like, hey Al, what you doing, man? You want to go for a ride? Keep me company? Yeah, he's got my back. So that's my boy right there. But we just got into an argument, and I thought it would be fun to share the argument with you. So he's saying that because I do believe that there could be UFOs out there. Personally, I ain't never really seen one. All right. Well, all right. I seen one. I seen one that was hard to explain, but it could have been something. There could have been a logical explanation for that. But Al's mad at me because I don't believe in ghosts.
I'm not mad. I'm just saying.
You're mad. I know you're mad.
Listen, I'm just saying.
Watch.
If you can believe in UFOs and that stuff, then why can't you believe in the paranormal? I mean, it's essentially the same thing.
All right. I believe there's people out there. There's people out there that have had UFO experiences, and I mean paranormal experiences, we'll say. But I think it's possible that the human mind worked them over, and they only thought that they had UFO or paranormal, see the ghost.
Just batshit insane, then I guess.
But I don't believe in ghosts. You guys let me know in the comments if you actually believe them. Because I was telling Al, when I was younger, we'd walk in the woods even at night, no flashlight, no nothing, and I never had any concern. But Al seems to think there's ghosts. What's your evidence to support this, Al?
Beetlejuice.
Come on, man. You gotta give me something better than that.
I haven't had any first-hand accounts, but I know people that have, and I don't think them as liars. So that's good enough for me.
I can admit this much: when you go into certain places, especially if somebody tells you it's haunted, but when you go into certain places, you can definitely feel a little weird. I mean, there's no doubt about a feeling that you get that's a little bit of weird. Let's say, I remember there was a place used to be like a mental institution or something that got torn down, and people going in and out of there having strange feelings. But I think that it's very easy for you to go in there and let your imagination get a hold of you, and you start believing in all that stuff. But I don't really think it's real. I mean, I feel like you could freak yourself out, and you could start to believe that. Or, you hear a noise in a house, something like that. There's an explanation for that. A lot of these houses are old. They make thumps, they creak, they bend with the wind, they settle. I mean, really anything could be possible, but I just don't believe it, man. Y'all believe in ghosts? Let me know. He said, come on, bro. There's no way you don't believe in ghosts. I mean, what's up, Steve-O? He said nobody believes in ghosts until they encounter one.
That's right. Non-believers say, I don't believe it, and they finally see something and they hate.
That's why I'm saying, I would invite anybody, paranormal investigator, whatnot, to go ahead and try to change my mind. But as of right now, I'm not buying it.
Just don't bring in a Ouija board. That's just dangerous.
No, I'm not doing no Ouija board or nothing like that. I'm not trying to tempt the spirits or whatever. I believe in God and stuff.
So now you say there's a chance.
No, I'm not saying there's a chance. I'm just saying
because now you're saying with the Ouija board, you're not trying to tempt anything to come across. So you're basically saying that there's a chance.
Just because, listen, that's just, all right. So what you're basically, your argument sounds like, because I believe in God, then there has to be a devil, right?
Not necessarily.
I mean,
now let's bring God in there. Okay, God and all the stuff talks about spirits and this and that. Then you have to believe.
I don't know, like angels and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's because it's basically kind of it's the unseen. Have you ever seen one? Have you ever seen God? Have you ever seen? No. Well, you read about it. It's in the Bible, right?
This is true.
So, essentially, what is God? Spirit, or Jesus came back to spirit, or so they say. Now, you wouldn't believe that. How could you not believe the other stuff? You know what I'm saying?
What, like people seeing like, all right, so when you see a ghost, you're talking about somebody dressed in like a sheet over
They're
there?
saying Scooby-Doo, bro.
I don't know, bro. I mean, so you're not going to really see a ghost, right? You're going to hear them or something?
There's a lot of different kind of hauntings. There's residual hauntings that it's kind of like something playing like back in time, plays over and over again.
Steve said God's not real. That's his belief.
Wow.
You see that? See, the only problem I have with God not being real is it doesn't make sense that this could all be for nothing to me in my mind, I'm not saying that anybody's wrong in their beliefs. I'm just saying, for me in my mind, it doesn't make sense that this could all be for nothing. It's all too perfect for it to be for nothing. But at the same time, I don't know if I could believe that there will be ghosts, maybe weird creatures that we haven't found. All right, so he says there is a creature called jinn, not ghost, but another creature.
Yeah,
they can appear in many forms.
Yeah, they're from in Middle Eastern.
And Trash Bandicoot, he said, watch Nuke's top 5 on YouTube,
yep,
bro.
I've seen those.
The posts and videos that they send, you be the judge. Yep. So listen, how many of you guys have watched those paranormal investigator shows, right? Now, one thing I hate about those shows is the way they're edited. You have to watch all the way to the end because there's about to be a ghost. It's about to happen.
No, not those. Forget about those.
It never does.
You never see anything in those. I'm talking about ghost hunters and stuff like that. You never see anything. I'm talking about the actual, like they brought up Nuke's top 5, where it's just a camera, just happens to catch something. That's actually real. Something actually happens. Now I'm not talking about ghost hunters.
What was that? All right. But the one thing that I guess I could, and this might just be the fact that somebody goes psychologically crazy, but I think exorcisms are real, and the stuff that is documented in the Catholic Church as far as like what they found. I'm no expert on this, but I have seen a few things that were pretty convincing but that could just be somebody going crazy a little bit in the head.
Well, that was expected belief back in the day, but
I mean, the reality is
what happens though when you perform the exorcism and you go through all that stuff. The person goes through all that stuff, and all of a sudden they feel better. It's just like all of a sudden they stop being crazy. I mean, that's not the way the mind works, is it?
I gotta give you that. I mean, maybe, but that's like, were they like just perfectly fine after that? They went on to live.
I'm just saying, like, for instance, if you have to get medication for symptoms like anxiety, depression, there's just no way you can snap out of something like that.
Right.
If it's a mental illness.
Right.
I'm good all of a sudden.
I just got a call. All right, you guys tell me if you can still hear me. I got a call. Sometimes that cuts out the audio. Let me know, please. Somebody drop a comment. All right, that comment right there. Here, read that to me. I can't read, y'all. I'm driving.
The Bible is very... Zach and Serena said... Oh, just weird.
What is
the Bible is very clear when it says that we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities in heavenly places. Sandman says, you saying this can't all be for nothing speaks volumes.
That's what I'm saying. This can't all be for nothing. I believe that it's too perfect. I look out here, I look at my kids, I look at just life in general and people in general. I believe the best about it all. This can't all be for nothing. Hey, my volume's still working?
Rusty says, I believe there's something after life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. So he's like, I might not got it figured out exactly what it is, but it's something, But he said, you're saying all this can't speak, it speaks for nothing. But I don't know, like out of all the people in this room, Write a comment right now and tell me if you believe in ghosts or not. Yay or nay? Yay or nay, do you believe in ghosts? Or even better, have you had an experience that you believe you may have seen a ghost or something like that? Because Al was telling me last time we were drinking a couple beers, you were telling me about, all these different things. And I kept saying, nah, there's probably a logical explanation for all these things.
Look at the story your friend Mikey told you about. The witch he saw.
That was weird, man. I'll tell you guys a story that my friend Mikey told me that was true. I believe it to be true. All right. And what he said, basically, they were hunting at night. This is in Mexico.
Yep.
They were hunting at night, and they shot a deer, and they went out to get the deer. When they went out the deer, it was they heard somebody laughing, like a real high pitched laugh,
like a cackle or something.
It started to make them kind of freak out. So it was like, he described it as a cackle of some kind, something like that. And then he said when they were trying to grab the deer and bring him back to the truck, that somebody had lit off like a fireball, and it looked like a mini explosion is what he described it as. And he said after that, they left the deer, ran back to the truck, and took off. Now, I know a lot of the Mexican people have some deep belief in the spiritual realm, because I spoke with him and his family a little bit about stuff like this, and all I'm saying is the seed is fertile for them to kind of believe in something like that. The chupacabra. I mean, they got the chupacabra. Isn't that what that is?
Hey, chupacabra, but you're close enough.
That doesn't mean that I don't believe that there's some species that we haven't found. There's probably plenty of stuff.
Those are called cryptids.
Cryptids?
For those who don't know, cryptids. Undiscovered species.
Are you saying cryptic?
Cryptids.
Sounds suspect.
No.
So, all right, so for the poll, he said, I have an exorcism experience that was crazy.
Like Bigfoot.
And that's Ayo Drizzy. Drizzy, the exorcism was performed on you? Just curious. He said, how can you even feed your kids if it's all for nothing? I agree with you 100%, man. It's not all for nothing. He said, I've heard many stories from different people, but never experienced it myself. And I think that's kind of the boat I'm in. Like, hey, honestly, I guess if there is some evil spirits, then that would have to mean there's some good spirits, right?
Of course.
So it feels like, I think inside we all feel like there has to be some good with the bad.
It's what the Asians refer to as yin and yang. It's good and evil. It's balance.
He said, I'll send you a picture on the Telegram. I'll see what you think. Oh, you're not doing an exorcism, are you, Steve-O? But I'm kind of curious about Ayo Drizzy dropped a comment. He said he's got an exorcism experience that was crazy.
There you go.
We've all had that crazy house in the neighborhood. I mean, tell me you guys didn't grow up, wherever you grew up, there was a house that was haunted somewhere. And I know for a fact, you guys who are in the UK, you guys who are in places that are a lot older than the United States, there's castles, there's all kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
Castles,
it feels like that could be haunted. The only place that I was at that I really felt like it could be haunted was Fort Niagara. Fort Niagara has a lot of history. A lot of battles took place there. A lot of death took place there.
I believe that.
I'm going long back on memories, but somehow a kid fell in the well. Supposedly you could hear him crying in the well, stuff like that. Or if it was a girl, I don't really remember. But that place was creepy. We used to go there Halloween night. It wouldn't open till midnight the day before.
Wow.
So you would be there on Halloween night, and they had people dressed up in old colonial times and ghosts and stuff like that. It was possible to believe that stuff while you're there and in that moment. But then when I got home, I'm thinking, man, I think I was just being silly. I was playing it up in my head. I'll have to look after Steve-O, because it'll probably cut off the live if I navigate away from it. But so you still believe in ghosts even after all that?
Of course I do.
Did I convince you that there's no ghosts?
No, you didn't convince me there weren't any ghosts.
Do you see any?
No. I hope I don't ever have to see one.
Okay, hold up, y'all.
See one.
Drizzy dropped his comment. He said we were praying over a house that experienced supernatural events, and we thought it was over. I went upstairs with some of the kids to download Christian music on their iPad. To be determined in the next comment. Oh, Jesus. So you're talking about there was a house that was haunted. All right, so if you go to probably the most famous haunted house, the Amityville Horror House.
That's debated.
But no.
I don't even know, the people say it didn't really happen. Because apparently nothing happened to the people that moved in after, and after that nobody experienced anything. That's what they claim. So
if I remember it right, wasn't it two families?
Well,
that had
the
problems?
First family, the son killed the family,
right?
And he went to prison,
right?
So supposedly, their spirits remained. And before that, there was a demonic presence. He claimed, the demon made him crazy, made him kill his family. So then the Lutz family moved in, and what they claim is that within a few days, they experienced all this stuff, and they left. They left all this stuff. But then everyone else moved in after, never experienced anything. They claim. So who do you believe?
Yeah, because they left all their possessions in the house or something. That's weird. I don't think that anybody in their right mind would just leave everything they had behind if nothing went on.
Well, you could also think that maybe the family itself was haunted.
You think spirits can follow you?
Of course it can, especially if you're haunted.
That's a whole nother level of nonsense to me.
Nonsense? No.
I don't want to say nonsense, but that just just adds a whole nother level of unbelievable.
There's things called attachments.
Attachments?
Yeah, they get attached to you and just follow you.
Get out of here.
Yeah. There's a famous haunting. Forgot. They did a movie about it in the early 90s. I can't remember the name. It was it's called Haunted or The Haunting. Basically, this family, everywhere they went, they got followed by the same demonic force.
That's pretty scary.
And they followed them everywhere they went. They couldn't escape it until they actually did, or they found out. I guess when they found out was the cause, who was haunted, or maybe I think it was maybe an item they had in their possession. That was the reason why they were being followed. I don't remember exactly what it was.
That's crazy.
But
man.
they kept being followed by this, dark entity, this dark force, and that was crazy.
We're back on the Ayo Drizzy comment, but before I read that, I'll read this other one. He said, when I was younger, there was a black hooded figure in the corner of my room with grayish white eyes.
I've heard that.
I didn't sleep there for months.
Yep.
Damn, that's kind of spooky. Okay, Ayo Drizzy said we were praying over that house where there was supernatural events. They tried to download Christian music on the iPad after they thought it was over. The lights in the room wouldn't turn on with no electric problems. I was downloading songs for the kids. They were jumping on the bed, and I hear shuffling. It happens twice, and then dead quiet till I turn around. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. He said, I'll start believing ghosts when you all start believing Bigfoot. I didn't say I didn't believe in Bigfoot. He said, seeing the kids staring at the noise, sensitive stoplight, and this inanimate object was shaking and slamming itself on the nightstand. I sent the kids downstairs with the other pastors. Oh, Jesus. That's crazy.
Well,
that's kind of scary. Now, Bigfoot, on the other hand, I don't know, but it seems more plausible to me that there would be an animal of some kind that we haven't discovered. Like, that seems plausible.
Well, we had the skunk ape here, this area.
And then let me ask you, Ayo Drizzy, when you guys got done with the prayers and everything, did that make it stop? I'm just curious. But if we're gonna it's kind of funny too how it's almost like what Al said earlier. He was like, if you believe in UFOs, why can't you believe in paranormal activity? And I think it just goes down to the plausibility of it. Like, yes, I believe in UFOs because what makes us so special? Could we really be the only life form in the entire universe?
No.
I just don't believe that.
It's hard
Always
to
got a
believe.
couple 400EXs. I want to buy one, but I can't rule that out. So, as far as I'm concerned, UFOs are probably very plausible. And then as far as like Sasquatch goes, or Bigfoot, or however you want to call them, Yeti, skunk ape, bunch of names for them, but that seems like it's possible that there could be one living. But the only problem that I have with that is we don't really have any bones or any evidence that really truly supports that. I know people have had footprints, and there's videos that are always weird.
Yeah.
And it's always like some hunter that was drinking probably way too much beer who's seen something strange. Problem with the woods is, especially at night, if you let your mind go to work on you, you could really start seeing things that ain't there. Especially if you start to believe that you're in some type of danger, the brain can turn against you, and you can start to believe that you're in much more danger than you really are in. I mean, it's a lot like a panic attack, actually. Ayo Drizzy said after that exorcism, the family didn't have any problems after that. What was the reason they called you guys in to do this in the first place? Was obviously something that led up to this. Sandman said, I don't know much, but I believe in actual ghosts, but I won't play with a Ouija board.
They're dangerous, man. They ain't no game.
K. Willie says, I was working overnight on a prison block, and the showers turned on, and it sounded like somebody was under the water, but everyone was locked, sleeping at like 3 a.m. That's kind of weird. He said maybe it's just because I haven't seen it because I keep God first, he said, and he protects me from it. I mean, I could say that could be one of the reasons why I don't believe or see it. And let's say, Al, that you believe in these ghosts, right?
Yep.
Do you believe in that a priest could come in and get rid of those ghosts?
It's possible.
You don't sound convinced.
Well, it's because I've heard where it just isn't enough sometimes. It's just something, it depends what you're dealing with. It's something very powerful, and one exorcism might not work, might not be enough. Where no matter what you do, you have to probably leave the premises because, it's just so bad.
What if it's an attachment?
Oh, that's a different story.
Then you don't have a choice.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. Just keep trying and trying to get rid of it.
So you got to do what you got to do.
Of course, man.
I don't know.
Try living with an attachment, something like that, following you everywhere you go. That's hell. That's hell, man.
Horatio Hidalgo said, "What's up, Al?"
What's up, Horatio?
He said, "Tell Al I said what's up." Ouija boards. I don't know if you want to play around with the Ouija board. I've played with Ouija boards when I was younger, and it seemed like things were happening, but really was it that the other people pushing it? I mean, it's like when two people carry, let's say you got two people carrying an item. One's on the back, one's on the front. Somebody's always lifting a little bit more, but you could tell who's doing what when there's only two. But when you got 3-4 people carrying the table, you really can't see who's putting in the effort and who's not. And, sometimes you got to feel like that's got to be somebody's hand. Somebody's pushing it over to say some stuff. Or maybe even it was me.
Let me tell you a story. This is what my brother told me. He had a friend. They made a Ouija board out of a cardboard box. They basically just drew everything the same. And they used, I guess, something as, the little planchette. And they went ahead and did their thing and then told me. The room got cold. They were at his friend's house. The room got cold.
In Miami?
Yeah.
Cold?
Room got cold. There was a glass of water in the room that flew across. And yeah, it happened. And then he said they put it away and that was it. Never did it again.
An animal or something could have knocked that water over.
An animal.
You got cat?
No.
Cats jump up on the table and stuff.
No cats or animals. I'm gonna believe my brother, man.
It could have been a fan kicked on. I mean,
Dude.
Maybe the water was resting on something that was sideways. Maybe they bumped it, and in their terror, they believed that they. I don't know.
My brother would never lie to me about that stuff.
See, that's the thing is, it's always. I feel like there's usually a reasonable explanation for most of this stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, if you think about the Cecil Hotel,
I heard that was.
Remember that girl went missing in the water? She wound up in the water tank.
Yeah, she went missing. They had footage of her outside the elevator.
Yeah,
and then they found her up in the tank above the roof.
Right.
They're crazy.
But there was other things that happened at the Cecil Hotel which made it really haunted, and I seen the Cecil Hotel recently. I was in LA when I did that Johnny B thing. Place is a creepy looking place for sure. But I was kind of looking at that footage the one day. That footage is definitely edited. It's sped up. Mm-hmm. So when it's sped up, it makes her look a lot weirder, than what she would be if she was normal. But it is weird because it looked like she was running from something or someone. Yep. She was clearly in terror. Yeah. She was in some terror, whatever it was. Maybe she was off her medicine or something like that. But then again, wasn't it like locked from the top? But there's an explanation possibly for all this. Like maybe she got crazy. She had a little mental breakdown, jumped in the water tank, wound up dying. Somebody came in there and seen the water tank.
Well, she said the thing was locked. How could she have gotten in?
That's what I'm saying.
Foul play involved. Something happened.
Maybe it was open when she went in there, and then somebody else seen that it was open and then closed it afterwards.
They said times.
I just feel like I don't believe it, and I feel like the possibility that some of the stuff that people see, they're half asleep, so they could be partially dreaming.
What made that glass of water fly across the room? What?
I mean, it's possible they bumped the table and it fell off.
Bumped the table.
One of them bumped the table, it fell off, and it appeared to fly across the room, but really it just tipped over. I'm just saying, usually there's an explanation for this stuff. If any paranormal investigators ever want me to come along and point out the falsities of everything they're doing, I would have to.
Eddie Barber, ghost hunter.
Yeah, we'll do the Harry Houdini thing. We'll just go around and expose people for being frauds. I'd be like, they'll come upstairs in the room that I'm staying in. They're like, well, what do you think? I'd be like, seemed like a nice room to me. Oh, there was, you know what, though? There was this Airbnb I stayed in Pennsylvania. They had it was like a bed and breakfast years ago, but now it's an Airbnb.
Yeah, a lot of those
really old house.
Yeah, you see a lot of those, bed and breakfast Airbnbs are probably haunted.
So when we had to do laundry, which thankfully they had a laundry machine, we had to do some laundry. Went downstairs in the old Airbnb. Breakfast in bed. It was all still set up as if people were going to be there, and it was set up like no restaurant you'd ever seen before. I mean, it was like old. You could tell nobody's had food down there or anything for a long time, and it was creepy, man. It was so creepy going down there. Even my skeptical self, I went down there, I couldn't help but feel like there was something, but that was probably just me giving myself the heebie-jeebies. Anybody can give themselves the heebie-jeebies.
I mean, you want to keep telling yourself that, you made yourself go crazy, but eventually, something's going to happen where you just can't explain it.
Well,
or to the point where you can't say, well, it's my mind playing tricks on me. There's something more to this.
That's the tough thing, is like to just be aware that your mind's playing tricks on you. It's just like, well, at the same time, people can work themselves up over anything. But I think that if you are a paranormal investigator, I don't know how you get certified for something like that. It seems like you just kind of show up and say that you are. Or a medium, you believe in mediums, psychics, and all that other stuff.
I think that's there are people that have those gifts. Do exist, have those gifts.
It's a tough one to explain, really.
They're not all grifters. Some of them are fakes, but there are people that I think actually have those gifts. They can probably communicate with the deceased or those that have passed on, you know, or whatever, what have you.
So the only problem I have believing in that is that most of them are probably frauds. You know, they're like, oh, I sense that there's a mic in your family. You're like, yeah, no shit, there's a mic.
Because they couldn't play off.
Yeah.
You know, your answer.
But at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that the FBI has used some of these people.
They have,
and they've found people.
Right. Just solve mysteries.
Just straight out of the blue.
Yep.
You know, so I think that's kind of weird too. That's kind of weird too. So I mean, I can't say 100% that nobody could do that. Or maybe it's like, you know, here I was feeling. Remember how I was telling you how I was feeling when I was in that basement, that Airbnb basement.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling some type of weird. Maybe some people are a lot more sensitive to that, and they go with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where me, I felt like going upstairs was the best thing to do. Like getting away from that area. Like my body was telling me, I don't want to be down here. I don't know what it was about the place, but it was kind of creepy.
That's sort of the way it is. You get a bad feeling.
Yeah.
You feel like you're being watched by someone. It's not there. It's
I did feel like I was being watched.
That's the feeling people.
I gave something. All right, you guys. I thought that I'd just hop on here and we'd have a little fun that didn't have nothing to do with barbering. I got some other videos lined up coming for you guys. I had to release that one for Gamma today. And Rusty, I'm gonna take a look at this spooky picture, and maybe in the future we'll do another ghost talk, man. If you guys like it, drop a comment, drop a thumbs up.
Maybe Halloween.
Halloween. We'll save it. We'll save it for Halloween because we ain't no paranormal investigators. But all right, you guys. I'll catch you guys later. This is the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Eddie Barber. This is my boy L.
Later, guys.
And wait, one last comment. He said, I've physically seen lights in the sky. I was alone, but I got shook up and I ran to a random group of people to confirm. I mean, I've seen, that was my UFO experience too. I seen sort of like an odd light in the sky.
Yep.
But you know, it could be an explanation for that. I'm just not sure what it is. But
You think you went crazy for a few minutes, maybe?
no, it was like 3 of us that seen it.
Okay, so
He said even in the daytime, it's hard for me to tell people because like it looks. I mean, that's the thing too. Is a lot of pilots have seen things, and for years they couldn't report on them, or they'd get, you know, probably like Baker acted or something.
so a lot of people that work for NASA, they have stories, but they can't
Like
talk
Bob,
about them.
what was that guy's name? Bob Lazar. You know, he had some crazy stuff. He was on. That dude seemed like a straight shooter. I mean, I don't know, but I let it go for now. I just want to hear more talks like this. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a podcast or something about this. But I still don't believe in ghosts. If it turns out you are watching this and it is not live, drop a comment about your ghost story. Maybe I'll talk about it in the future live. And if somebody out there thinks they can convince me that ghosts are real, be my guest. All right, you guys. This is the YouTube Barber Academy.